Welcome to This Explainer. Okay, today we're diving into something genuinely monumental in the blockchain space. We're unpacking InterLink's massive version 6.0 upgrade for the Seoul Private Mainnet. And look, if you've peeked at the technical papers, you know they are incredibly dense. It's like reading a foreign language sometimes. So we're going to translate all that complex architecture into a clear, compelling story about scaling, real-world utility, and absolutely future-proofing security. Let's get right into it.
Here is the roadmap for our explainer today. First, the Han River vision. Second, building the ecosystem. Third, bridging to the real world. Fourth, a new ownership model. And finally, post-quantum security. All right, let's move.
Section 1, the Han River vision. So the naming here, it's definitely not an accident. InterLink formally designated this the Seoul Private Mainnet as a direct nod to the Han River miracle. Now, if you aren't familiar with that, it was South Korea's absolutely incredible historical transformation, going from post-war devastation right into a highly advanced industrial economy. It's wild. And InterLink, they're using this specific historical event as both a symbolic and a really practical blueprint for their own development trajectory. This historical event is basically a literal blueprint for them. Just like a whole nation rapidly industrialized, InterLink's core strategic objective is to actively scale up. They want to go from a nascent network straight into one of the world's largest active blockchain systems, and they want to do it in a highly accelerated time frame. It's a massive, massive undertaking, but it totally sets the stage for the engineering we're about to look at.
Section 2, building the ecosystem. All right, let's trace how version 6.0 actually came to life. Step 1 was the super intensive 18-month research and engineering cycle. I mean, that is a massive commitment before ever deploying anything. Then, that led directly into Step 2, the official inauguration of the private mainnet phase, which marked a really pivotal transition in their overall infrastructure. And finally, Step 3. This brings us to active governance with the implementation of DAO Proposal number 16.
Now, following that DAO Proposal 16, the network implemented the ITLG staking protocol. This brought in formal rewards via their native ITL token. But look, a network needs actual utility, right? That's exactly why they are projecting the integration of hundreds of dApps in just the first year alone. It's basically a new app launching every time you blink. And for you, as a potential participant, validator staking means you can actually contribute to network consensus and earn proportional security rewards for doing so. It's a really clever way of effectively distributing power and responsibility across the entire stakeholder base.
Section 3, bridging to the real world.
So this is the million-dollar question, isn't it? A robust digital ecosystem is great and all, but how does this actually impact real-world business and commerce outside of the whole digital vacuum?
Well, InterLink tackles this real-world utility from two distinct angles. First up, we've got straightforward payment infrastructure. This allows ITL tokens to be used directly for goods and services with participating merchants. Pretty cool, right? But the second angle, this is where it gets highly innovative. It's a proprietary transaction-backed digital asset protocol. What this does is enable the actual tokenization of real-world business assets for peer-to-peer trading. They are quite literally bridging traditional business structures right into blockchain ownership systems. And get this, they actually have intellectual property protections pending for this specific advancement right now. Real game-changer stuff.
Section 4, a new ownership model. Historically speaking, traditional financial assets, things like real estate, precious metals, equities, they've always seen early accumulation heavily concentrated among institutional entities. The big guys get in first. But InterLink, they completely flip this script. Their architecture actively prioritizes distributed asset ownership right down to the individual participants and nodes. It's actually structurally mirroring the highly decentralized distribution we all saw way back in the early days of Bitcoin. However, we gotta be realistic. InterLink isn't just ignoring the reality of modern capital. Actually, the private mainnet operates on this really delicate dual structure. On one hand, they are fiercely preserving that decentralized individual ownership we just talked about. But on the other hand, they're simultaneously integrating institutional capital. In fact, specialized treasury companies have been formally registering with them since December. It is a bit of a high wire act, They're trying to ensure healthy capital flow without just recreating the exact same monopolies we see in traditional finance. Section 5, post-quantum security.
The stakes for blockchain infrastructure are shifting dramatically right now. Accelerating developments in things like artificial intelligence and quantum computing? Yeah, those aren't just sci-fi movie concepts anymore. Experts are actually predicting that quantum computers could break standard encryption within the next decade. Let that sink in. This represents a looming, frankly catastrophic threat to traditional security architectures.
So, how exactly is version 6.0 preparing for this? Well, by implementing some seriously proactive cryptographic defenses. Their research division hasn't just been sitting around. They've actively developed, validated, and integrated quantum-resistant cryptographic methodologies directly into the network itself. This architecture is built to maintain tight security against future quantum attacks, but, and this is absolutely crucial, while still optimizing performance so the network remains lightning fast. It's really all about anticipating these future computational paradigms. They want to make sure the protocol doesn't just survive the jump, but actually thrives in the long term.
Which leaves us with a final thought today. We are stepping into an era where the technological ground beneath us is literally shifting. In the InterLink Seoul Mainnet, it isn't just trying to keep up, it's actively engineering a foundation designed to withstand whatever is coming next. So I'm going to leave you with this question to chew on. As quantum computing completely reshapes our reality, is the digital infrastructure you currently rely on actually built to survive the paradigm shift? Think about it. Anyway, thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, stay curious, and I will see you next time.